Hello and welcome to this little video. It's a short one. I just wanted to illustrate something, and I know lots of people who watch my channel are probably aware of this, but I want to actually show you. So if you see this area here, now if you look down there, that's a whole load of brambles. If you see that bare area there, that was where the brambles covered. I mean, all in there, we'll probably see some shooting up. Here you go, look, here's some shooting back up. Much of them I dug out. But, you know, you can see the extent of where it reaches the nettles there. Well, that's the area it covered, or they covered. So we cleared that, and also further down there we cleared it as well. But also, I wasn't in charge of this, but I think it's a good idea. We just wanted to create, this was a blackthorn, well, just a wild blackthorn scrub basically. This is the blackthorn with the white flowers, and basically these trees are, you know, this high. You can see them all. They're all blackthorn, and you can see they've just grown high and long, and basically we're propping each other up. So in order to create some paths through, what's happened is they've been cut down, or some have been cut down. Not loads, but some. Enough. Now let me show you what happens. Now you see this here. Well, I'm going to now stand on it. And I'm off and on and off and on. Yeah, so all these trees have grown really tall, all the weight is at the top, and they were basically holding on to each other. And like with deforestation, once you do that, everything else crumbles. So I mean, as you can see, we've planted trees in between. You know, we've planted more trees, so this is a managed area that we're going to make more of a mixed woodland than a single species. Look, beautiful hart's tongue fern with the violin neck curl of the fronds. You know, for example, you can see how they're all leaning because they were sort of propping each other up. So I've done things like cut it so that will sprout, hopefully, because there are sprouts at the bottom there. Here, that's coming out. Anyway, so down here, if we go and take a walk down here, I'll show you some more. Like this, some of these were all dead, but there was a bramble that, I'm going to do a longer video on this anyway, but there was a bramble that grew there and covered all of this, because we didn't even know this was a dip. Now that one I had to cut down the other day, because you can see here's the roots. See, they've totally lifted up because it hadn't got anything to to lean on, as this one here, which I've reduced its weight, but yeah, it's another one. So that's what happens, that, you know, trees actually rely on each other to hold themselves up. It's kind of like they can feel the energies of other trees, like when, you know, at the side of the roads, or a little walkway that people walk a lot, the trees won't grow into that bit, they'll grow over it, over the height of humans. The other thing that happens when you make a space, make a gap that's accessible to light, is you'll start getting nettles growing. And not just nettles, but you'll get brambles as well. And, you know, there weren't any brambles here. This was done, it was cut 2 years ago. Yeah, pretty much 2 years ago, exactly. And if you come, these I've done so that they can regrow. As you can see, that's regrowing. Now here, there were never nettles in there, ever. But they've spread into here because they can get light. So what happens if you know, people have this idea, oh, we'll move here, oh, I don't like that, we'll cut it down. And then they spend the next decade or decades having to deal with invasive weeds that decide to come in. And talking of invasive weeds that decide to come in, now this is the next door's land, and just beyond there, I don't know if you can make it out, but can you see where it seems like there's a dip between the plant there? Well, that's part of the spring, the channel of the spring running down. Anyway, this side was opened up. This had the same, as you can see, it was like it is there, but here. So they've been taken down, but for some reason, because I think maybe because those ones are growing up straight, these ones aren't leaning at all. I mean, that one is, but that was already leaning. It hasn't lent because of the problem. So what we've got is a path down here, but what we've also got down here is an area that gets more light. Now this plant over there, that's called butterbur, and it's an invasive weed. I don't think there's a use for it, a foraging use for it. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's I've never seen so much, to be honest. Look at it all, it's like a sea. And again, from the tree, that's where the channel of the water runs down. Now the other thing is, you can see all these brambles here. Well, the brambles were pushing over the fence into the meadow. So I had to go up and cut the brambles. And you have to leave, you know, far enough for, or else you'll be doing it every few weeks. Well, what's happened is the butterbur's gone in because it can get the light. And if I take you up further up, and I can show you in there, I mean, there's one or two in there, but, you know, you struggle to find them in there because they want the light. So now I'm going to have to battle to cut. Every time they come through here, I have to trim them down. Luckily, I have a little buffer zone that I use as a path, so I'll always be cutting it, but I'm gonna have to do it more frequently because of the butterbur. You know, I only did it, I can't even remember when, might have been a couple of weeks ago. You know, so they're starting to appear. And you know, it's impossible to get rid of them, especially that many, because they're constantly coming through. So I just thought I'd share that with you. And the reason I mentioned that about the deforestation is that England has only got 12% woodland coverage. Bhutan has got 75% woodland coverage. Now, that's a much better statistic as far as I'm concerned. So we need to plant more trees. Not that I'm going to see it in my lifetime, but you know, I think I've planted my share of trees and I continue to do so. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-da!